Hi there everyone, it's Jeff Spock, the narrative director and lead writer of Amplitude Studios, back with another one of our focus videos. We're going in detail into the factions now. We previously did the Vaulters, now it's the turn of the Wild Walkers. Now the Wild Walkers are our elf faction, more or less. However, even though they have a lot of the traditional elvish sort of characteristics, like they shoot bows, they wear green, they come from the forest, we put a few twists in there that we think makes their gameplay a little more interesting. So one of the things is they had this power called the sharing, in which they could share the soul or trade souls with the beasts of the forest. So they gained these savage powers and this real sort of rush of energy from this. However, it started to take over the society as more and more people became lost to this sort of bestial side of their nature. So they decided they were going to leave the forests, move out into the plains, build a civilization, properly speaking, and leave that behind. However, there's still a little bit of that in the character. So you see the shaman, for instance, one of the units, looks a little bit bestial, and they have a power to actually be able to locate enemies even in the fog of war, because they can sort of sense them the way a wild beast would. So that's kind of a neat thing. So as far as moving out onto the plains, that changes things because now they are the construction and industry faction. So they have some bonuses to industry, which incidentally they lose during winter. So that's another part of this summer-winter thing that we have that's actually a pretty big gameplay element. As far as the units go, there's 3 units, as there are for every faction. There's the basic archer unit, I believe the most powerful ranged unit in the game. It's an elf. Then we have the shaman unit that I mentioned previously. And finally we have this sort of massive melee forest spirit unit that's really the frontline guy, and you'll see that size-wise it's very different compared to the other units. So those are the 3 units you'll be playing with, plus of course any minor factions you assimilate. That's a gameplay thing we'll get into later. So there's 3 very cool looking units, some interesting battle tactics you can do with them, and remember, the forest is your friend. So that's a brief overview of the Wild Walkers. Next time we'll be looking at the Broken Lords. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, if you have any questions or comments, don't hesitate. Nice talking to you, and see you next time.